Thank you for joining us. We've come to the end of our series, Crisis Management for Frontline Leaders. What are the principles that guide us? Hi, I'm Dr. George Everly, and I'm joined today by Dr. Carolyn Fowler. And it's been my pleasure to work with Dr. Fowler as we've gone through and examined each of the 10 principles of crisis leadership. Well, this is number 10. This is our last. The moment of absolute certainty may never arise. George Patton famously said, "The only failure in leadership is the failure to lead." Well, remember that when people are fearful, when they're confused, when they're angry, they look to leadership. Absent leadership, bad things usually happen. People act impulsively. They act for self-preservation reasons, excluding others, forgetting that we're part of something bigger than ourselves, forgetting that the single best predictor of human resilience is interpersonal support and connectedness. So, absent leadership, we go down a very dangerous path. Carolyn, is that true?
It is, George. And I think the challenge for leaders is to think that if people want information and that they're going to come to us and ask for it, that they're going to remain open. And sometimes, if we are not actually providing information to them, they're going to start manifesting signs of stress and fear. And so their lack of information or their lack of certainty may manifest behaviorally. And I think here we're asked not to be frustrated or to reject this behavior or to discipline this behavior, but at least to approach it initially with compassion and to say, what is it that they need that they don't have? And if I'm not certain of what it is that I need to tell them, then I mustn't make it up. I can't lie about it, but at least I can engage around, I don't have the answer for you here. I don't have the answer. I don't have the information, but I will find it and I will let you know it as soon as I do. But we can't discount this manifestation of anxiety.
Leadership scholars have told us for literally hundreds of years that leadership consists of two interacting dimensions. One is the task orientation. You got to get the job done. You got to get the mission completed. But they also recognize that there is a psychological or emotional component. And research has told us that the most effective leaders are the ones that understand the dance, the intricate intertwining of the psychology and the task orientation. And I think that's something that we have to keep in mind because many of us want to go right to the quick fix. And we've mentioned this in our previous presentations, that this is an integration. And the psychological ones become even more important for the long haul, and pandemic is certainly a long haul. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as many of the leaders of this institution have already said, this is a marathon we're running, not a sprint. And I think we need to be understanding that early on in this marathon, people are going to be leaving hot. They're running fast. They're trying to get systems organized. They're being heroic. They're just pushing themselves. They're driving themselves. But we can't run marathons at the pace of a sprint. And as people get tired, physically, psychologically, and emotionally tired, we're going to see this behavior that you mentioned appear. And I think this is what's really important for people to say, let's realize that this is a long haul. Let's prioritize taking care of each other. Let's prioritize updating our information as we get it. But let's not just sort of lock it down and say we've got this and we're running and we're not going to correct course, or we're not going to take care of ourselves along the way.
In some of our previous presentations, we've talked about the importance of leadership communication. Module 8, we talked about there's no such thing as an information vacuum. Leaders need to lead, and they need to utilize communication as one of the primary leadership tools. And we talked in the last module about transparency and truthfulness and timeliness. And here we're talking about the importance of actually getting out and leading, waiting for that absolute certainty. It may never be there. Sometimes we just have to lead. What I don't want our listeners and viewers to walk away with is the impression that that should be impulsive leadership. And I think it's important to underscore that action and decisions need to be calm and thought through as much as time will allow. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. And we've talked so much about the importance of timeliness and being truthful. And I think that we need to be, as we have to make evolving decisions, as we need to change things or discover new things, we need to be transparent about the information we're using to make those decisions. And I also think that we need to be transparent about something beyond just the data. You know, it's so easy for us, especially here, because we're a data powerhouse, to say, well, this is the information we're using to inform these decisions or these change decisions. People are also listening to us to tell them more than that. How are we informing our decisions based on our commitments to the patients, our commitments to their families, and our commitments to our people? How do they inform our decisions? And how are we informed and guided by our values that have sort of been our North Star in Johns Hopkins Medicine for so many years? And people may not ask that, but they're listening for it. And it's so easy in a time of crisis to think that it's all about the cognitive. It's all about the science and the data and the facts, the technology and the tactics. But as you've taught us, getting through this is about paying attention to our greatest resource, which is our people. And people have feelings and emotions. And to remember that triangle, that it's the facts, it's the feelings, and then it's those emotions that sometimes people can't even put words to. That's what leadership's being asked to do here. And it's challenging, but the thing that I've noticed, George, is that our very best leaders almost do this automatically. And that's what inspires me.
That's what leadership scholars do. They study natural leaders and try to teach the rest of us what they do. Mm-hmm. Carolyn, thank you so much. This series was engendered because of COVID-19. I hope some of the things that we've covered transcend just the pandemic. This is my third pandemic, and I've been to 39 countries on 6 continents, with famines and wars and all kinds of human-made and natural disasters. And leadership, from my opinion, from my point of view, really, really does matter. And one of the things that I think about and I take away from my experiences, and I would like to pass along, is that this series has been designed to help leaders, not teaching them in a pedantic way, but rather guiding them, and sometimes just affirming what they already do. Mm-hmm. And there's something to be said for affirmation. But as we look forward, a couple of things need to be kept in mind. Structure is an antidote for chaos. Information is power. And let's remember that we are in this together. And that's what leadership does. Leadership helps people come together. It guides. The greatest single resource, the greatest single predictor of human resilience is other people. And sometimes what we need is leadership as the glue that brings all of that together. Carolyn, I want to thank you for your wisdom, for your experience, helping to bring these principles to life. And I, most of all, want to thank the very busy people who have taken time out of their very busy lives to listen to these presentations. Hopefully, you've learned something new. If not, again, affirmation is probably a good thing. I'm Dr. George Everly, and I want to thank you for spending your time with us.
Thank you so much, George. And before I say goodbye, I want to just remind you that if you've enjoyed this series, please access the resources at the Office of Wellbeing and let us know. Let us know what you thought of it. Please let us know what you put into practice and how it supported you. And George, thank you so much for spending so much time bringing your decades of wisdom to us here at Johns Hopkins Medicine. It's been a wonderful partnership. We're all very grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for spending time with us.